Day trader in a tie-dye jumpsuit and a gutter punk kid with a neck tattoo. They're hooking up at the unisex bathroom. It was Brooklyn, it was Friday, it was love. Across the bar sat the hip-hop purist, arguing with the jazz obscurist. And in the corner were the terrified tourist. Brooklyn, Friday love. Angel choirs on the corner all night, sing Johnny Cash and Jackson 5. A little heaven you can stumble into. We got your invite tonight. Don't try to fight. Oh, it's just Brooklyn on a Friday. Don't try to fight. Oh, it's just Brooklyn on a Friday. They come from Mississippi and La La Land, the new wave hippies and the pop goth glam. It's just 'cause parents don't know.
It's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been a minute, Anthony. Good to see you, my friend. It has been a minute since we've done a nice Friday chill. You know, hey, Germany goes on a extended leave of vacation, and as do I. So, yeah, it's been a minute, but excited to kind of get back, get some of that rust off before the podcast starts on Monday. Yeah, I figured let's have a nice chill stream tonight. Talk some, obviously, Fußbal, some Schalke. Obviously, they kick back off tomorrow. Talk some Serie A, and then let's see where the night takes us. I don't plan to go too crazy and all, but definitely want to talk some Serie A. Definitely want to talk some Schalke tonight. Dominic, happy 2026. Yeah, hopefully everyone's had a nice holidays. I have myself here in the Midwest enjoying the frigid temperatures. Yeah, it's going to be single digits this weekend, so cannot wait for that. But hopefully everyone's been doing well, huh? It's been crazy in football in general. It's been good times here. Obviously, Serie A has been continuing to go on non-stop. There's been a little bit of hiatus in the second division of Germany, but yeah, man, it's been pretty crazy. And Anthony says, so far I've liked what Fulkrug has brought to Milan with his hold-up play and his toughness. Yeah, that's been the big question. We'll start off with Serie A tonight. We got some people in here talking about Serie A. Fulkrug, obviously he was someone who's very well known in Germany. Scores a boatload of goals, not only for Dortmund but his previous club. Gets this big move to the Premier League and doesn't get the minutes that he was expecting. Doesn't kind of live up to expectations that they were hoping, at least. But when you don't play in the position that you're expected to, how can you expect to perform at the level that you were doing before? Nonetheless, he goes out and now he's with Milan, and I think he'll do well there. He's a type of striker that Massimiliano Allegri likes to use. And so, yeah, lots of things going on. Let me pull up the Serie A table here, because the Serie A table it's something, huh? It is something here. There you go. It is tight. I saw a comment somewhere that said this was one of the tightest Serie A races at the midway point, maybe ever. You got, obviously, Inter at the top, 46 points. Milan with 43. Then Napoli 3 points behind them. Juventus now in the top 4. A goal differential. Tiebreaker over Roma. Then you got Como hanging in there in the European spots. I mean, they're trying. Atalanta, Bologna, Lazio rounding out the top 10, and Udinese. But let's just go to the bottom. The one bit of good news, since the last time I did a chill stream, Fiorentina no longer at the bottom of the table. They are still in the relegation zone, within 3 points of escaping. They're trying to figure it out. They're garbage, much like West Ham, right? But yeah, they're slowly, very, very slowly working their way up. It's an interesting table. I still can't see how Fiorentina is going to get relegated this year. I hope they don't, just for the sake of Serie A. You know, it's going to be Lecce, Cagliari, maybe even Genoa are the ones who are going to be at the falter of that. I can't expect Pisa or Verona. Verona, they finally going to get relegated? We'll see. And Kunku over the last 3 games is slowly finding his shooting boots with Milan. This is true. This is true. My phone's like listening in on me right now. Yeah, he's finally getting his form. Everyone's trying to say that he was a flop, and all of a sudden he started scoring some goals and finding some form. Funny how that happens when you start playing some minutes. So good for him. Good for Serie A. We got a title race going on here. At the beginning of the season, lots of people picking for different reasons. Milan, Napoli, obviously Napoli with being the reigning champions. Roma obviously going in the mix. Some people are saying Inter. I wasn't saying Inter. I was giving a lot of hate towards Christian Kivu, and I have to walk that back now. I think Kivu, he may be onto something there. I thought between Coppa Italia, between Champions League and Serie A, this man would struggle mightily. I thought the team was one of the best teams in the league in terms of talent. But in terms of coaching chops, he's not an Allegri, he's not a Conte, he's not a Spalletti, who's now at Juventus, he's not a Gasparini, it's not a Fabregas. So I thought. But this guy proved me wrong. And I'm eating my words. I think he's doing a phenomenal job in all competitions. I think, didn't they lose in Coppa Italia? Maybe not. But for sure in Champions League, for sure in Serie A, they're doing the business. Lautaro got 10 goals this year, leading the league, 2 goals over Christian Pulisic. So they're doing a phenomenal job this season. Anthony says Fiorentina is slowly getting their way out of relegation zone. Slowly is the key word in this one. So, yeah, let's kick it off with some Serie A talk. I had some talking points. I'm going to skip over some of my Schalke talking points because, yeah, we're going to skip over that right now. But the big thing, obviously, top four. I mean, Inter's got a hold on it at the moment, 3 points, but it's just 3 points. It's just one game. We still got all the rivals to face in the second half of the season. Anything can happen in these games. We'll see. So far, Christian Kivu's done pretty good in these games. Not great, but the teams are starting to find form. Milan is trying to figure it out. And it's funny with Milan is that as good as they've been with the results-wise, the 3 points back, they've looked up and down all throughout the season. They start out slow. They have to come from behind often. They don't play consistently, and that's very anti-Allegri, not Allegri-like. But they're getting done. Arsenal versus Inter is going to be a banger on January 20th for Champions League. That is. And I'm curious who Inter have around that time because, where are they going to focus? They're going to focus on Champions League, which is a huge matchup, or are they going to try to balance their way between Champions League and Serie A? Because obviously it's a big game. But on the 17th to play Udinese, 20th to play Arsenal, 23rd to play Pisa. So it's a favorable schedule for Inter in that regard. Obviously, they just beat Lecce. They drew Napoli recently, but Udinese 3 days before Arsenal. That's going to be tough. Udinese are a difficult team, but you get a result there. They don't necessarily have to have your best 11 in that game. Rest a couple of the key players for that encounter. Head into Arsenal, obviously. Have a banger of a match there. And then Pisa, you could probably rotate a bunch of guys because they're not up to snuff. Pisa isn't, right? Kivu's putting his imprint on this Inter squad, which I didn't expect at this point of the season. I'm with you, Anthony. I thought Inter would be good. I didn't have them in the top 4. My top 4 were Milan, Napoli, Juve, Roma. And right now, Inter look a lock in the top 4. And then you got 4 of the teams battling for the top 4 spots. You have Milan, Napoli, Juve, and currently outside, just barely, is Roma. This is an interesting dilemma here. Juve have obviously come on strong with Spalletti. Spalletti's done wonders for them. It suits them well to have Spalletti. You gotta tip them that they're gonna be able to get in the top 4. But who's out? I mean, Gasparini, he does a good job with his team in Roma. It's going to come down to think between Juve and Roma. I don't see... My question mark still with Napoli is Champions League. How do they balance that? That'll be the one to watch for me. I think Milan will be comfortably in the top 4. Then it comes down to the last 2 spots to 3 teams. Napoli, with their schedule, can Conte figure it out between 2 competitions? He never has before. Can he do it for the first time? He's got the horses. We'll see. Juventus, can Spalletti work his magic? Can the new signing that they brought in help them out? Roma, they got a new striker as well. Can they figure it out now and get things over the hump there? That'll be a super interesting thing. And then obviously the big talking point in the top 10. Como, can they stay in the top 10? Can they make a European spot? That'll be awesome to see. They obviously have a beautiful stadium. They got a wonderful team, very young team, obviously all led by Nico Paz and Francesc Fabregas at the helm. Atalanta, they're slowly figuring it out. Bologna is still a good team. Lazio is starting to figure it out now. Yeah, obviously Udinese just scratching on the outside of the top 10. What are your guys' biggest surprise of the Serie A season so far? I'll tell you mine. I'll give you guys a minute to kind of tell me yours. What's your biggest surprise of the Serie A season so far? Because mine, it's surprising me because I pegged this team possibly to get relegated, or at least be in relegation zone. Hopefully Tari can get Magnon's signature over the line if reports are true. Yeah, that would be key for Milan. As much as I'd like Napoli to go for Champions League, they won't stay, so they'll be in the top 4. Anthony's biggest surprise is Cremonese. Cremonese are having a pretty good season. They started out on fire. Obviously, they got Jamie Vardy. They're hanging around there in 13th place. It's pretty good. I think that surprise is probably better than my surprise, honestly. My surprise is Sassuolo, how they're an 11th place. They're a mid-table team. We knew they were good. They had some good guys, but I thought they were going to struggle out the gate. Barely stay above relegation. Be out of relegation for sure, but towards the bottom tier. And look, they're mid-table. Cremonese is even a better story. They don't have the horses that Sassuolo does, right? But they're in there. They're only 1 point behind. They're only 1 point behind Sassuolo as well. So, I mean, to get to 10th place, it's 1 or 2 results. Vardy enjoying his time in Cremonese. Yeah, Jamie Vardy is having a party. Yeah. Does anybody know Jamie Vardy's slogan? At least when he was in the Premier League with Leicester City. Chat shit, get banged. It seems to be coming true with Cremonese. Having fun. He's having fun scoring goals for them. Cremonese are doing well. Happy to see Vardy and Cremonese are doing well. So, excellent there. But yeah, Inter are setting the pace at the moment in the top 4. Milan, I think, are a viable threat to the Scudetto. It's that of the 2 teams right now, Inter are the more consistent, for sure. Milan has had their issues, whether it's a Leao issue, or now it's a Pulisic thing, or it's Tomori in defense, or whatever. They have obviously Luka Modric, fantastic. He's just a world class, wonderful player, maestro. But so many inconsistencies with the team, as opposed to Inter, who just, man, they're like a machine. They keep going and going, and all credit to Christian Kivu for what he's done with this club. So Napoli, you can't discount Napoli, but the whole Champions League thing worries me. Could Juve sneak up on people? It's possible. It's very possible. With Spalletti, anything is possible. You see what he did with Napoli, so you can't rule that out. We'll see. When these next big games come up, the next couple big derbies come around, curious to see how Spalletti and company handle these games, and Kivu as well. Those will be the things to watch, because Juve could sneak up and people surprise some people. Don't discount them, but it's this top 5, man, it's a dogfight, and I love seeing every minute of it. The longer it stays this close, the better it is for the league. The more eyes are going to be on it. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Historically, it's a good omen for Inter. Those who have been Campioni d'Inverno, the fall champions, they go on to win the Scudetto 70% of the time. So it bodes well for Inter, but they don't have that. They have a slim lead right now, and they still got Champions League. Napoli have Champions League. Milan don't, but Milan are consistent. Milan can get some consistency and don't play like the buffoons that they have been at times in different games. It could be theirs, but you know, I don't want to jinx anything, so we'll say Inter for now. Who do you guys think? Who do you have as the favorite at the moment for the Scudetto? Is it Inter, Milan, anybody else? Napoli, Juve, Roma, Cremonese? Oh man, let's see. Milan, obviously, it was a 6-point lead until yesterday, until Milan obviously won 3-1, beating Como, 2 goals by Adrian Rabiot. Allegri's getting it done. He's getting it done. But I think for Juventini, you know, talking about Spalletti and how they have a real chance of this, of sneaking up on people. Isn't Jonathan Davis starting to come around now? I mean, they're figuring out Spalletti does amazing with strikers. And they obviously got a wonder kid in Yildiz out there. But man, Spalletti, strikers in general have flourished under him. And I think what they're going to do the second half of the season is going to be something to watch. Who knows how this is going to happen, what's going to happen here. Igor Tudor clearly wasn't doing a job at Juventus. Did anybody really think he was going to do it? I mean, good for him. It was a good story. A guy who was a mid-table manager gets a shot at the big club. He did well. He last year got them back in the Champions League. But just couldn't figure it out. You know, too many stars on the team. They started floundering in the Europa League spots. Something had to go. Spalletti was available. He's come in, and he's not only giving the top 4 hopes, but you know, an outside chance, a dark horse at the Scudetto here. So the Spalletti effect is in full effect here, full court press. Mi cora dica Milan. Okay, Dominic. Yeah, I mean, my heart says it too, but officially I'm gonna not try to jinx it here. You know, knock on wood. Anthony says, I think the Scudetto will be between Inter, Milan, and Napoli. Yeah. In Pedro we trust. Inter can slip. This is true. Christopher says, why is Fiorentina so bad? That's such a good question. They've had so many issues getting the right manager, experimenting. This team has been like a staple in Conference League, top 7. They got some talented players. It just, for whatever reason, it's not getting through to the players. Sure, it's bad luck in there as well. But man, it is head scratcher what is going on with them. I'm gonna pull up some of their games here and some of the results. Currently 18, 20 matches played, 2 wins, 21 goals in total. So the lack of goals is a big issue. All right. Now you start out the season a draw against Cagliari. Okay, whatever. Torino's a draw. Lose to Napoli. It's Napoli. Okay, not bad. Then you lose to Como. Nobody knew at the time. People speculated how good Como was going to be. Fiorentina kind of got a shock to that. But then they struggled against Pisa. Lost to Roma. Lost to Milan. Decent result against Bologna. And then got shut out by Inter. Lost to Lecce. I think you can forgive them for the results they had against the top 6 opponents, top 7 teams. But it's these bottom games is where they are hurting themselves. 0 against Torino. Cagliari 1-1. Pisa draw 0-0. Lecce losing to them 1-0. Drawing Genoa. You know, they came up decently in some of the big games, right? Bologna 2-2, 1-1 against Juve. Sassuolo got creamed. Verona, who's bottom table, they lost to them. They figured it out against Udinese, which is the majority of their goals came from that whole game. But then again, go right back. Lose to Parma. Found it out against Cremonese. Played well against Lazio. Played well against Milan. Then they kind of go back to the round of the slate again. So what are they going to do against Bologna? They played them well in the first half of the season. Cagliari, they got to win the game. If they have any chance of getting out of this relegation zone, they're going to have to beat teams like Cagliari. They're going to have to get a result against Torino. They're going to have to beat Pisa. Try to get a result against Udinese. Try to get a result against Parma. got a same thing with Cremonese. Verona, that's a must win there. Lecce, they don't get if they don't win these games, they're gonna get relegated. I don't know. I can't figure out what has been the big issue with them. It's frustrating to see as a Serie A fan because it's one of the teams that you watch your whole life, right? Batti goes somewhere in Argentina, wherever he lives these days, be like, oh God, what's going on with my team? Same thing with Baggio. Hopefully they figure it out. But man, it just whatever the message was and is not getting through their head. They're overcomplicating things. Pioli came in. We thought he was going to be the savior for them. Obviously, he has a sentimental feeling with them. But I think part of it, and maybe just coincidence, but I keep saying that managers who go to take that big money, go to Saudi Arabia, and then come back, are going to lose something because the competition is not the same there, and you can lose that edge. Jose Mourinho, you're seeing it now with, or you saw it with Pioli. We'll see Inzaghi when eventually he comes back. If he comes back, he might just retire for life. So the message that Pioli tried to deliver was not getting through. Now, you know, with the current manager, it's starting to get through because they're playing better against some of the bigger opponents. They got to get on a run. We'll see. I'm at a loss of words with Fiorentina. Anybody got an idea? Let me know in the chat because I would love to hear it. Anthony says David is fighting his way after he missed the penalty versus Lecce. He is, yeah. And so much hate from his fan base too. One of the big, people were arguably saying bust of the season. He's coming around. Imagine if he becomes a bona fide goal scorer for them at season's end. We'll see. We'll see what kind of magic Spalletti can bring up with this. Modric and Il Cavallo Pazzo himself, Rabiot, have been our best signings at Milan this season. Thank you, Jonathan Rowe, for getting into a fist fight with Rabiot and Marseille. Yeah, that helped a lot, for sure. Then you got, obviously, Christopher Nkunku, now coming into form. We talk about Jonathan David getting into form now, as is Christopher Nkunku. And then now you got Nicholas Füllkrug to the action, who's going to make it another talented goal scorer up there. So we'll see what happens with Jimenez. He might be odd man out in this one. I guess he already is. Because Nkunku's starting to get his form with his balloon celebrations, and Füllkrug is a legit goal scorer. He wants to be on the German national team as the main striker, continue to be on the squad as the main striker, so he's going to be motivated. We'll see how they go, but so far, the team's going well. Obviously, they're being led by Leao, and obviously Christian Pulisic. Magnon has regained his form as well. I would take a punt on Limon Inzaghi, but he's so top tier. He is. But I thought I thought Pioli was pretty good, even though he got let go from Milan. He's still a good manager. Goes over there, comes back, and we saw what he did with Fiorentina. Hopefully that's not the case with Inzaghi. Inzaghi is undoubtedly one of the top Italian managers out there, managers in general, over in the world. So you hope that doesn't affect him. We'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But obviously Modric and Rabiot are big contributions for Milan this season. Hence why they're doing so well. Allegri's finally getting his team, starting to get his team adapting to the tactic and the tactical shift from what was previously under Pioli. They're not there yet, obviously, because there's so many missteps throughout the season, whether it's at the beginning of the game or just lapses in judgment throughout the game, or they just have frustrating results. But they're still with all the BS that they have. We as Milan fans have had this season. They're 3 points up from top place, which is unreal. Would they have wanted games like Genoa and Fiorentina back? Yes. Looking at some of the other games that they had. Why is my thing not working? Anyway. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Great result against Napoli. Probably wanted a result against Juve, but that was a good game against Juve. Probably want that Pisa game back, 2-2 there. part of my game. That was another game they wanted back. Great result against. It's the thing about Allegri. He gets his teams ready for the big games, and now the big games against the best team in Serie A this season, Milan has delivered for the most part. But it's those teams that you're expecting them to win, you're expecting them to being somewhat cruise control. That's where the lapse in judgment is. The frustrating part of watching them. You know, Sassuolo 2-2, Genoa 1-1, Fiorentina again. I figured it out against Como, obviously led by Adrien Rabiot. But they got to figure it out. But I like what I'm seeing under Allegri. He has such a demand for this team. I think it's gonna be, once it's all said and done, I think we're gonna have a Allegri who's more in the role of Juventus 1.0 versus Juventus 2.0 when he was there. We'll see. 3 points out of first. I think we'd all take it all day seeing how last year went. Wonderful result there for sure. And Christian Pulisic is flying in all cylinders, getting goals and assists. Is undoubtedly the best player on the team outside of Luka Modric, I would say, in my opinion. Many people will say Christian Pulisic is the man, and he's been performing like it this season. He's 2 goals behind Lautaro Martinez, and this makes the Capocannoniere race even that much more interesting to see. Obviously, the 2 Milanese clubs leading the way in terms of goals. It's low scoring when you look at it this season in terms of goals by players. We've seen other years where the goal scoring's been way up. Not so much this year. It's more defensive, which is fine. This is what we're akin to. This is what we normally, and I say normally, our grandfather's Serie A, right? Lautaro 10 goals, Pulisic 8, Orsolini having a good season. Çalhanoğlu prior to recent is lots of goals, 7 goals. Yildiz got 7, Leao 7 himself. Paz and Dovikas over at Como, 6 goals each. I mean, it's a nice thing here. A lot of guys in there, and Højlund quietly with his 6 goals there. So it's wide open. Capocannoniere, you gotta like what Lautaro is doing at the moment. You gotta give him the advantage right now over Pulisic or anybody else in terms of Capocannieres, but it's a long way to go. We're only in January, mid-January. Dom, I don't think he trusts Stupion at this point. Yeah. I wish Max would quit starting Stupion. Stupid man over Bartasaghi. It's ridiculous how much better Bartasaghi is. Yeah. Props to Bartasaghi for earning his spot in the starting 11. Teo was still at the club. I doubt he would be given a fair shot like he's given this season. Yeah. Yusuf Fofana, he's been awful. He has been. He made his movie back until March with surgery. Okay. Let's see. He says they sacked the sporting director Prada as well as how Fiorentina started the season. Yeah. Great points there. So let's see what news has happened this winter so far. The news of the week, I think, is Giacomo Raspadori returning to Serie A from Atleti. His failed stint there. Gets a 5-month, or he had a 5-month spell at Atleti Madrid, and joins Atalanta for 19 million euros. Was that yesterday or 2 days ago it happened? Huge move for Atalanta. They don't normally go out and do this, but it's a great signing. Raspadori is such a good player. He can play in so many positions. He's very versatile. Can score goals, can set up people. I love the signing there by Atalanta. So they're making that push to try to get obviously get a European spot, undoubtedly. But they're meaning business this year. They're in 7th right now. I think they'd like to get in 6th place, jump over Como. That's going to be interesting to see between Bologna, Atalanta, and Como. What happens there? Can Como hold off Atalanta now with the addition of Raspadori? To be determined. Other rumors this week. I remember hearing Federico Chiesa back to possibly Juventus. Roma are also linked with him, and Napoli as well. He's obviously not getting his fair shake, not getting the opportunities at Liverpool. And so he could come back to Serie A. Obviously, I think I don't know. Do Juventini want Chiesa back? From a talent position, talent-wise, you think yes, but he's massively hasn't performed as well as we thought he was going to do, right? So it'd be an interesting proposition there. Maybe goes to Roma, links back up with Paulo Dybala, goes to Napoli with Conte. I'm curious to see how this turns out. I would love to see it back in Serie A. He's wasting away at Liverpool. We need a good Chiesa to have a good Azzurri. We saw what he's done in European competitions. He's like the Lukas Podolski of Germany, where doesn't do much, or even Klose, doesn't do much in the league play, but we put him in international play, he just turns into a monster. So we need him to get some minutes though, so he can continue being a monster, or regain his monster form in your international play. We'll see. We'll see. Well, we've seen how, speaking of transfers, Napoli have done so well with Man United rejects. Rasmussen. I'm going to leave De Bruyne out of this because he wasn't a reject by any stretch. However, Højlund was. And he's doing well now with Napoli. Latest rumor, Harry Maguire. Freaking most overrated defender I've ever seen in my life, I feel like. And most of it's justified for the way he's played. However, rumor is he might be going to Napoli, maybe Inter for depth. I'm curious to see how that happens and how he plays. Hey, lots of guys have flourished, especially if those who come to Conte have flourished. We've seen a lot of English players from the Premier League, flourish when they come over to, I almost said the United States, the Serie A. And Cuckoo finally getting into form here, right? Curious to see how that turns out. Inter, I think they're smart. They got a lot of depth. So what do? Build for the youth, build for the future. They started focusing on a lot of youth products. They picked up 18-year-old Branimir Mijacic from Hajduk Split, and they just adding pieces here and there. They got some good youngsters already. They're just building that youth to make a sustainable team for many years. Well done by Inter. Why rock the boat when you don't have to? A lot of times, teams who are at the top will try to add pieces, bring them into the fold, and then the chemistry dissolves from how it was previously. Yeah, there's really great chemistry of a group. That's why they're at the top of the table. You add this one or two pieces in, and it throws everything off, and then they start struggling. You've seen it time and time again. So Inter, knowing this, they go in with the youth setup and really trying to build team players for the future. Depth is not as much of an issue for them compared to other teams in the league. So totally agree with the way they are attacking this transfer market thus far. Harry Maguire would sink like so much Kyle Walker did. Yeah, Kyle Walker wasn't a success story for sure. There's been some flubs, but there's been some hits too. Obviously, McTominay is one of the recent great successes. Man, the guy's Joe Cool out there, so good. Sometimes players just need opportunities. Frank and I talked about this for years. Guys just need opportunities sometimes, especially when they come from England. Guys who don't get the opportunity over there come over here and then flourish. It's because not because they were bad players before. It's because they didn't get the time. Fulkrug was a good player. Goes to West Ham, doesn't get played the way he should be, and he struggled. Now he come back, and now he's looking like a instrumental piece for Milan here. So, so that's it. Loving me some Rabiot. Loved when he signed. But yeah, it's we'll see what happens. Watch out for Milan. The wall, Mike Maignan is back. Does he get an extension? Milan's 19-game unbeaten run a sign of champion, or are they getting lucky with Magnan's heroics? That's a question there. That's a question there. But yeah, it's this weekend coming up. What do we got this weekend? Inter play Udinese. Is it this weekend? I'm using my phone here. I should be using the computer, which I'm looking at. Let's pull it up on the screen here. This weekend, yes. Udinese Inter, that's going to be a tough game. 3 days before Arsenal, we'll watch this game, see what kind of lineup Inter puts. I don't expect them to play their best 11. It's going to be close to you. Probably have 8 out of 11 guys who are their normal starters, I would say. They should just rest 2 or 3 key figures that they'll need fresh for the Arsenal match. That's going to be a huge matchup. Napoli Sassuolo, good game, I think. Napoli should edge it out, but hey, Sassuolo have done very well against good opponents this year. Cagliari Juventus, I'm going to favor Juventus in this one. Parma Genoa is going to be entertaining. A nice mid-table clash here. Good to see how that's going to work. Bologna Fiorentina, let's watch Fiorentina. Can they get a result against Bologna? That would be huge for them. A win would be fantastic, but a draw? That would do well for them also. Roma Torino should be good, but Roma got the advantage there. Milan Lecce, I would say Milan should win this game, but we know how Milan play against Lecce and these lower provincial teams not so well. They usually play down to their opponents. I'm worried about this match. I'm hoping they get a result as they did with Como. Cremonese Verona. Cremonese should get a win in this one against Verona, and Lazio Como is the game of the weekend, arguably, right? It's either that or Juve or Udinese Inter, but I'm gonna go Lazio Como. That's gonna be an entertaining game. We'll see how they do. Did Magic Mike resign with Milan yet? Not yet. He has not yet. Sassuolo could be a trap game for Napoli with Champions League coming up this weekend. Coming up soon. Yeah, let's see some of these teams who got Champions League, right? So pulling up my Champions League schedule here coming up. So let's see the Serie A teams. Obviously, Inter playing Arsenal. That's a huge game. Copenhagen against Napoli at Copenhagen. That's going to be a tricky game here for Napoli. Where do they focus? Are they going to focus against Sassuolo? Or are they going to focus Copenhagen? At this point, look at the table in Champions League. They need the points. They are currently 6 points and in the playoff spot. They would like 3 points, but they also want to be in the Champions League, in the Scudetto race. We'll see what kind of lineup they put out there. As for Wednesday, let's see, we got Juve against Benfica. I expect them to rest some players against Cagliari and focus on the Benfica matchup. Atalanta against Athletic Bilbao. And Atalanta, who do they have this weekend? Atalanta, they played Pisa. So they had a couple days rest. Is that it for them? They don't play again, right? Yeah. No? Okay. So Atalanta should be sitting pretty in their game. They got a lot of points already, so they're up there in the table. Juventus are like Napoli, struggling, need some points. Though they are 3 points ahead of Napoli at this point in the Champions League season. So enter from your words to Jerry's ears. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how Champions League affects the teams at the top this year, this week. If Milan get a win and Juve, Inter, and Napoli falter, more so Napoli and Inter, could be interesting. It's already interesting. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Such a fun season. It's been nice. I've desperately missed doing Serie A sit down for sure with Frank, but it's also been nice to not have to try to watch every single game to get ready for the podcast. I can just enjoy the games, watch the games that I want to watch. It's been fun. It's been fun to enjoy it again. Not that I did enjoy it before, but all right. Let's see. That's been good 40 minutes of Serie A. Good 40 minutes of Serie A. I think it's time to transition now over to a little Schalke. I think it's time for some Schalke. Schalke get back tomorrow. Serie A had not had any breaks. It kept going. But Germany, I love Germany. I love Germany in the sense that they take these breaks. They take the month-long breaks, gives people a chance to rest. The players, people like me, fans in general, get to enjoy the holidays. So, season kicks off back tomorrow. We had some killer games today. Why I keep using my phone? I don't know why I keep doing that. But looking at some of the games from... What is going on? There it is. That's what I wanted to show there. Games that happen on Friday. Friday games are always fun. Always games on Friday. You had Braunschweig and Magdeburg. Magdeburg 3-0 win there. Braunschweig had a obviously huge win to end the Hinrunde, but the Rückrunde not starting out well for them. All their good mojo they had is gone after one game. Bielefeld lost to Dusseldorf. And there's a big games tomorrow. Big game, Elversberg, Nuremberg. Munster playing Karlsruhe, Dresden, Fürth. Obviously, the game I care about is Hertha and Schalke. And then on Sunday, you get Kiel, Paderborn, Bochum, Darmstadt, Kaiserslautern, Hanover is going to be a huge game. Yes, sir, Dominic. Yes, sir, Dominic. But the game I'm interested in is that. But, you know, look at the current table. They changed this. They changed this whole format on this website here. Let's see if I get it figured out here. Here we go. Okay, I got the table going. Schalke sitting first place by 3 points over Elversberg. One of the things that's going to help Schalke is the star striker in the league with Elversberg is out. He is out. Bunteleb moves on from Elversberg to Frankfurt with a contract through 2031. Transfer fee of 8 million euros. So the league's top goal scorer is out. That helps Milan immensely. That helps Schalke out immensely. Because that's one of the biggest threats this year for any of these Zweite Liga opponents. You know, many traditionalists want to see teams like Hanover, Hertha, but I don't see the Hertha thing. Kaiserslautern, Nuremberg, those kind of teams get back up there. Even Darmstadt. Elversberg is the little engine that could. Little, 8,000 seat stadium. They would need massive improvements and upgrades to get just to play in the Bundesliga because their stadium is not big enough. They might have to play in another stadium. So could this hurt them? We'll see. They have the most complete team in the first half of the season. 31 goals for, 15 against. One of the best attacks, if not the best attack in the league. They had the best attack in the league. And one of the best defenses in the league. Second best defense in the league. This is a complete team and led by and Bunteleb. But he's gone now. They still got some good depth on the team. It's a good squad out there. So we'll see how that pans out there. But game coming up. Hertha against Schalke. 2 top 6 opponents. Schalke obviously first. Hertha in 6th place. These two teams are very, very similar. Red Dead Redemption. They're very similar. Both got okay goal scorers, goal scoring output, and then their defenses are pretty good. Schalke has 1 more goal for this year than does Hertha. They've also given up 6 less goals. So it's going to be an interesting game between these two teams. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I cannot imagine it being anything wild. But hey, it's a second division of Germany. Anything can happen. We'll see if they can hold on to first place. It's going to be interesting to see. But game is early. Game is back on a Saturday. I think the big talking point, the first talking point with this game is how good these defenses are. And they're led by 2 quality goalkeepers. Obviously, Loris Karius, 9 clean sheets this first half of the season. But guess who else does? Tjark Ernst, the goalkeeper for Hertha Berlin, 22-year-old. So both goalkeepers have got tons of clean sheets. Lead the league, lead the league in clean sheets. Not going to be many goals in this game. First one to score probably wins in this game. So how are these guys going to play? It's the veteran against the youngster. I'm going to tip my hat to Karius in this situation. But you never know how teams respond coming out of the break. Schalke was on a fantastic run to end of the first half of the season. And Hertha were in a decent run too. How does Schalke cope with coming out of the break with the lead? I've listened to some of the words that Myron Muslic said during the break. And he's got his boys pumped up. Let's see if they can figure it out. They got, as Muslic says, 5 months of the hardest grinding that they're going to have to ever face in their lives coming up here. We'll see. Hey, JCP. Fiorentina isn't bad. Drawing against Milan and Lazio are amazing results. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Sorry, I watched too many Adam Sandler movies. But back to the goalkeepers. It's going to be a defensive game, no doubt about it. Ernst, the goalkeeper for Hertha Berlin, has a save percentage of 79% this season. Karras is like 78, I think, 28, 77, something like that. So, they are the two best goalkeepers in the second division. How is this game going to work? Not many opportunities are going to happen. But I think early goal is going to be huge in this game. It's going to get the other team out of their shell, which is important. Two teams who like to play defensive football. If they go down early, they're going to have to come out of that shell, which gives obviously the other team who's in the lead a great advantage in trying to come back. So we'll see how that shapes out. Some things to think about in this game for Schalke's perspective. Paul Seguin comes back, the former Schalke player. He's been playing well for Hertha. He scored on the last match day of the Hinrunde. And he didn't play so well in the first game to start the season where Schalke won that game 2-1. He'll be looking to get some revenge against his old team. We'll keep an eye on him. He's one of the guys you're going to have to definitely watch. But Hertha Berlin, are in a little bit of a crisis at the moment. Is Gavi the best football player in the world? No, it's Henny Matriciani. Look him up. But Gavi is very good. He's very good. But Hertha's crisis at the moment, Tony Leisner, he's suspended at the moment. Got a red card in, I think, the last game he had. And Fabian Riza, the Schalke killer. I can't say Milan. The Schalke killer is under the weather. We'll see if he plays. I didn't see the last results from this last couple hours, how his status was before the night. But he may not be playing. So if he plays, it makes Schalke's defense vulnerable because he is so good. And the wing play hasn't been the best for Schalke this season. Now, one of the keys for Schalke, obviously, is stability. Under Muslic, best defense in the league, only 10 goals through 17 games. Have they improved offensively without taking away from their defensive game? Their defense has to remain strong as it was in the first half for them to have any chance of promotion the second half of the season. The defense cannot be any different than it was in the first half. It can be better, for sure. It cannot be worse. But did they address the issues in the attack? That's going to be a question mark. We'll get a good idea. Obviously, it's going to be hard to tell against a good defensive team like Hertha Berlin. Bayern Munich is in the top. They're first place in the Bundesliga. But in the Zweite Liga, the second division of Germany, Schalke is in the top. Schalke trying to get back to the Bundesliga to play their old rivals Bayern and Dortmund. Bayern, if you want to know, they have the most points in their history in the first half of the season, tied with Pep Guardiola's team. So what Vincent Kompany is doing is fantastic. Statistically, the Bayern team now is better than Pep Guardiola's team back then in terms of goal differential. Same amount of points, more goals for. So take that with what you want to take it with. But Schalke, defensively, best defense in Germany right now. Can they keep their defensive situation intact and improve their attack? They got some players we're going to hear talk about that could possibly help. We'll see. But I'm going to be watching to see how this defense is coming out of the gates. It's going to be a grind, as every Schalke and every Hertha game are. They're grinds. So we'll see. It's not going to be pretty football. Basically, going to be watching like Allegri football. It's not going to be pretty at all. It's going to be defensive, block up shop, limit opportunities. I would say Hertha for sure, and I know Schalke as well, but for Hertha, 7 of the last 8 games, the goals in the game have been under 2.5. Very defensive. Schalke hasn't done much better. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be a chess match. Schalke going to try to create something with their 3-4-2-1 formation. Will Keenan Carman start in the number 9 position? Will he stay on the wing? We'll see what Muslich does. Obviously, they had a nice win. They had a couple nice wins during the preseason. We'll see what kind of result they get. There has been some activity though in the market this year. What is going on here? We don't want to do that. Look at my profile. There's some additions for Schalke. He's definitely there. Where is the first one I want to talk about? Happy birthday to the GOAT, Norbert Elgert. Okay, here we go. So first, Schalke. This is Winterpause news now. Transfer market news. Exclusive Schalke are in advanced negotiations with Kevin Müller on a loan move till the end of the season. The 34-year-old is keen on joining Schalke and is prepared to do everything possible to help the club achieve the Bundesliga promotion. Final details between Heidenheim and Schalke are still being clarified. Müller is ready to undergo his medical as soon as an agreement is reached. Now, why would they do that, you say? Why would they do that? This move tells me there's nothing to do with Karius. Karius is their number 1. But you have to have a contingency plan in case your number 1 goes down. Schalke no more than anybody. You lose your goalkeeper, it could derail your season. I don't believe the confidence in Justin Heckeren is there with this current management team. So, you bring in a quality backup like Müller, and he'll be the backup to Karius. What does that mean for Heckeren? He'll probably go out on loan, or maybe sell. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if they let him go. But he's young. I think it'd be foolish to sell him unless he's demanding a trade or a sell. But if you send him out on loan to Belgium or wherever to get playing time, get the playing time that he needs at his young age, and then you got a quality backup to backup Karius. We'll see how that happens. But I like this signing, and if it happens, I think you need to loan out Heckeren. Now the other bit of news, talked about the attack before, but a guy I like, youngster Marian Ljubicic. Schalke and Union Berlin are in direct contact, but there's still no agreement between the clubs. The 23-year-old striker is on the bench against Augsburg today. Is that a sign that he may become the Schalke? We'll see. I mean, someone said his goal record right now is 2 goals in the last 20 minutes of play. It's pretty good. A goal every 10 minutes? I'll take that. Schalke will certainly take that. We'll see. But if he is a surplus for Union Berlin and they're willing to let him loan out, I imagine it's going to be a loan move. I imagine it's a loan move. If it's a sale, that's a steal by Baumann, which he's done already. But Ljubicic would be a good addition. It would put pressure on Silla to perform. Jack and I talked about this at the end of the first half of the season, that we're pretty content with the strikers they have, actually. I think they just got to give an opportunity. Obviously, Silla's the one getting the momentum at the moment, but he's not scoring. But you got Hoyland, who's coming back soon. Bremer, who just came back. Lasma, who was doing well until he got his injury. Zaida Musa Chabara is finally getting on the pitch again. Don't want to rush him, but he's the future. Might be the future of this season, too. However, you got bringing a guy like Ljubicic. Competition is good. Competition is good. So we'll see how this shapes out. I like it. I like they're going for striker. I like they're making some moves. They don't have much money. They're trying to figure it out. Baumann is trying to cook as best he can. But we'll see. Other moves I've heard about. Let's see. Nicholas Toyer returning or staying on loan from Mainz. We'll see that. Players that are out. Heckeren, like I mentioned, he's probably going to be leaving soon. We'll see. Watch to see if that's a loan or a sale. Ibrahim Cisse finally departed for FC Arau yesterday or the day before in search of more playing time. So we'll see. We'll see. Not much else has gone far in terms of transfers. However, there was a big piece that happened before these two signings. At least I think it's a big piece. Good move there by Baumann and company. And that is, where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Maximilian Lüftel. It says, Lüftel becomes the new squad planner at Schalke, the former role held by Ben Manga. There's already a complete agreement between Lüftel and Schalke. Everything is signed. Lüftel will join on the latest July 1st without a transfer fee upon end contract with Hannover 96. Already in January, provided the club. Oh, so he might be actually in Schalke already if the clubs agree on a transfer fee. We'll have to watch that. I don't know if that ended up happening or not. Negotiations are ongoing. He will be successor to Ben Manga. He was a preferred solution for Frank Baumann, as Sky reported exclusively at the end of November. So there is the man right there. Who is Maximilian Lüftel? He is, I guess, known kind of like a mastermind at Hanover at signing young players. He's gonna be in charge of head of scouting, so to speak. He was a chief scout over there, highly regarded. I guess if you're looking at it from FM26 binoculars, you're probably saying his judge player potential is quite high. It's elite. He has an eye for scouting. He's had some good selections through the years. And why is this important, this signing? Obviously, you're filling the position that Manga has left. They're overhauling the recruiting strategy, and Lüftel is the man tasked with finding the next generation of talent for Schalke's academy. It's going to be pivotal for when they get promoted or when they attempt to get promoted. One of the things that's been lacking, Schalke, similar to a Southampton or hell, Ajax or any team that's had a known youth academy, used to be one of the top ones in the world. But they've struggled over the last couple of years. They haven't had the same amount of talent as they did before. Last time you had a really good quality talent was probably Leroy Sané, Julian Draxler. It was probably the last two big signings there. You know, Leon Goretzka, they kind of got him from Bochum. So yeah, they need help in that department. They don't have the guys. They're not creating guys like the Hovidises, the Neuers of the world. It's not the same factor that they're trying to afford. There's players, a lot of players that we like, but they're not players that get to the levels of a João Neves or a Gavi by any stretch, or hell, freaking Özil or Rakitic. Those guys, yeah, you don't see those names anymore. Got that quality anymore. Joel Matip, maybe the last good one we had, who just retired recently. So Lüftel's gonna be the guy who's gonna be expected to bring that back, and he's had some good history with them. So he's had a good history in general, good success in general. So Baumann trusts him. I'm gonna trust him. Give him a chance. See what he can do. Excited to hear more about him. Gonna try to dive in more into him and see what I can find out. But he's it's gonna be an interesting hire for sure. Excited to see what's the first big thing that he does that really opens people's eyes. I don't know. But all that said and done, I think the big thing, games tomorrow. See how what happens tomorrow. It's gonna be a defensive game. Not gonna be pretty. It's an early game, so at least have some coffee with the game. Yeah, a prediction for the game. It's gonna be grind. It's gonna be an ugly game. First goal likely wins. Game is at Hertha Berlin. I think they said something expected of 17,000 away fans or something. I remember in the Discord chat, Eric said something crazy like that. Let me see if I look up the numbers right now. What the expected travel support is, like 13,000 to 17,000 away fans expected to travel to the game. Pulling it up right now. Why is this not working? There we go. 17 to 22,000 fans expected to go. That's crazy. And you want to know the capacity of their stadium? Is it possible? Well, the Olympiastadion has a capacity of 74,000. So it'd be a good showing, but it's a rather big stadium, so it's not gonna be completely Schalke fans. Not gonna be quite half either, but 22,000 is pretty damn impressive. Not many teams in the world can boast that. It's gonna be lively. My prediction, as was in week 1, Schalke win 2-1. Not a happy beginning to the Rückrunde for Hertha Berlin. But again, hey, I always cheer against Hertha Berlin anytime, any chance I can. So we'll see. We'll see what it is. And then as for the podcast, it should return this Monday. It is a holiday in the States, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So we'll see. See how hungover Jack is after his Chicago Bears playoff game in the frigid tundra of Chicago as they play against the LA Rams. So he may be hungover. He might not be able to make the Monday game. We'll see. I haven't talked to Jackie. I'll give Jackie a shot tomorrow. But the goal is podcast Monday night, a reaction. Hopefully it's a victory Monday. Maybe a double victory Monday for Jack, right? At 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. We'll see if that anything changes. Stay tuned to our socials, in particular Twitter. We'll give an update there, but also on our YouTube, we'll give it an update on what time that podcast officially is. But we're aiming for our typical slot of Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So, all right. Good, just chill podcast. Anything else somebody want to talk about before I get out of here? You know, want to ease it in tonight. Didn't want to do super long. I was in a game a little bit, but I'm tired. I got a big day early in the morning. Chakra playing too, so I gotta get some rest. My anniversary weekend, so gotta go be with the missus as well. So here's your chance. You want anything else you want to talk about tonight before I get out of here? I'm all ears. But till then, there'll be not till Monday at the earliest. I'll be back. No, okay then. That's good with me. Hope everyone has had a wonderful holidays, had a great New Year's. I certainly have had one thus far. I'm enjoying my time here in the Midwest with the snows and frigid temperatures. I like it. I'm loving it here. So, gonna be happy to have Bundesliga German football back. Serie A has never left us. Champions League is back up this weekend. It's good to be alive, huh? It's good to be alive. All right, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed the weekend, or hope you enjoy your weekend. I will do my best to as well. We'll catch you guys here on our next podcast, which will be on Monday. As I turn my music off. Have a great weekend. Glück auf.